Hello and welcome, it's Matt Finnegan here. You're watching another Soccer Insight betting preview brought to you by betting-insight.com. Just a quick plug for our Betting Insight weekly magazine. It is a real interactive magazine where it's got audio, video, lots of in-depth analysis on a multitude of sports. You can get that free and view that free each Saturday before lunchtime on the site betting-insight.com. If you want it to arrive in your inbox around 11 a.m, just click on the button, ping in your email, and you'll get it every week. I hate spam, and that's the only correspondence that you will get if you share those details with us. So let's get into the tea time game, the Saturday tea time game, Sunderland versus Manchester United. Well, we rate United 1.6 on the OP index, Sunderland 6.65 and 4.4 on the draw. Well, Sunderland yet to win a game this season, and United their worst start for 20 odd years. So who would have thought United going into sort of match 7 of the Premier League, they would be in the bottom half of the table. And this really is almost a must-win game for either of the sides. So let's have a look at the head-to-head record over the last 6 seasons, and you will see that United have had the lion's share of the victories. 5 victories, 1 draw. Sunderland yet to gain more than a point against United in those 6 victories. But it's different dynamics now. Both teams have got different managers from last season. Sunderland, the defeat to United last season resulted in Martin O'Neill getting the axe, and who would have thought that 6 games into the season that Sunderland would be on the search for another new manager. So this really is a sort of, in my book, a tough game to call. But let's have a look at the early Betfair prices, and you will see that United, they're roughly similar sort of price to City in the early markets, around 165, 167. You can see Sunderland slightly less than our OP index price, and the draw is slightly less as well. But these are all subject to change. The screenshot was taken on a Wednesday. You might be watching this preview on a Friday or a Saturday, so the chances are that there will be movement in this market. My sort of gut feeling is that depending, and I'm recording this before United play on Wednesday, depending on that result on Wednesday, if it's a poor result from United, then they certainly could drift from that price. So do keep an eye. But this is a great way of just taking a snapshot in the markets. Like I say, it's recorded quite early in the week, these previews, and things can change. But let's have a look at if you feel United will get a result from the game, or Sunderland will get a result. Let's look at Sunderland first. Well, in the double chance market, you're going to need at least 6 to 4, 2.50 on Sunderland and the draw. You're going to need at least that if you're going to take that in the market. That's what you're going to be getting if you're laying them on the exchanges. So basically here you're saying Sunderland will get at least a point from the game, and that's the price that you should be looking at. And based on our OP index price on the Asian handicap, look for at least 4 to 5, 1.8 on Sunderland if you're going to play in the +1 goal market. And that means Sunderland can lose by 2 goals. If they do, that's when you've burnt your stake. But if they lose the match and it's by 1 goal, then you're going to get your stake back. So that's a good option in there. Again, if you feel that Sunderland may get a point and you got the comfort blanket, as if they lose by 1 goal, you're going to get your stake returned on the Asian handicap. So really, I can't see Sunderland winning. And if I was going to play, siding with them in this match, that's what I'd be sort of looking at. Something like the double chance, laying United on the exchanges, or the Asian handicap if you could get 1.8 or better Sunderland +1 goal. Finally, a speculative bet would be Sunderland to win either half. If you could get 2 to 1, 3.0 or above, then that's, you know, a sort of a fair price. It's sort of the line in the sand for me is at 2-1. If you could get better than that, I would think that's a fair bet. Now, United have been struggling for goals. I don't think they've scored in open play, so, you know, it could be, you know, Sunderland might be a couple of goals down in first half. They might score and be 1-0 up. You know, that's quite a decent, but it is a speculative bet. I think the other options are probably the safer options if you think Sunderland are going to get something out of it. Now, United, if you feel they're going to win the game, at the moment you're getting good value against the OP index. Of course, that could be all subject to change, you know, as you go into the weekend, but 165, if you do think they're going to win on the exchanges, and I've seen a few bookmakers offering that price up at time of recording, that's a fair price if you think United are going to get all 3 points. They've got a great record at the Stadium of Light, so, you know, ignoring the form, again, they're going to bounce back at some point, and you know, this could be the game. Sunderland, you know, huffed and puffed against Liverpool, but really the quality shown through, and I do expect United's quality to show through. Price ramping, an option that you got is Man United not to win to nil. Sunderland are going to keep going, and they will create chances. You know, United will offer some chances, and that's 2-1, 3.0. If you can get better than that, then, you know, certainly look for that in that sort of market. If you can get better than 2-1, that might be a consideration of ramping the price up. But I think, you know, probably the best option here, if you think United are going to win, is dutching them to win by 1 or 2 goals. That should pay 5-4, 2.25 at best prices. That to me is your best option, really, if you think United are going to win this actual match. So let's have a look at the winning margin options. What have you got? Well, basically Sunderland is very, very similar to Everton, really, that there's no actual sort of value dutching any of the winning margins. The best price you're going to sort of get is a 7-1, 8.0 and a 1 goal winning margin, and that's the most likely thing to happen if Sunderland go on to win the game, but you've not got that as an option. United, you do have 1, 2 and 3. It's pretty much going to be what the Betfair price is. These are obviously subject to change as we go along. If you've got a bit of confidence, you will get that 2-1 on United winning by 2 or 3 goals. So, you know, if you feel that United will bounce back, then you know, certainly consider that. Let's look at the unders and overs market. Like with the City game, and their prices are very, very much in line with our sort of index price on the 2.5 goals market. So if you feel that the game is not going to contain goals, then, you know, certainly recommend that you look at under 2.5 goals, as you're getting fair value on that. And you know, say, I've mentioned it in a previous one, it's going to take sort of 2 goals for you to go in negative in the by the half time. So again, you can, in your thought processes, always think about having options to manage your liabilities. Sort of try and map out the game as well as best you can. Obviously you can't predict the game too much, but it gives you that option. If you think goals are going to flow, and they did flow in the Liverpool game last week, 3.4 is great value. I think you might even, you know, at some point touch 5-2 you know, with this. So if you do think the goals are going to flow, 5-2 is good value on over 3.5 goals. Let's have a look at the in-play stats on this game. You've got a number of sort of options here. It's a 48.5% chance of a goal before half-time if it's 0-0 at 25 minutes. That, roughly, you're looking just slightly better than even money if you're back in first half 0.5 goals, or just slightly less than even money if you're going to be laying 0-0 in the half-time market. In this game, there's a 72.5% chance of goals being scored between 25 and 70 minutes, and if that happens, a 70% chance. So it's suggesting me, although that's quite high, is that it's sort of suggesting that you know, if 1 goal is scored, you know, it's not as high as we see. Generally, we see sort of a 3 and 4 game, a 4 in 5 game, you know, 75-80% chance. 70% is one of the lowest chances of another goal. So just bear that in mind. You know, if that goal, you know, does happen, you know, within that sort of time period. And finally, it's a 58.33% chance last goal of the match coming after 65 minutes. You're not going to get that price pretty much on the exchanges. In the in-play markets, 1.71. If the game's 1-1, over 2.5 is not going to be 1.71 at that particular sort of time. So the margin will be on the actual unders there. So depending on how the game is shaping up and how you feel the game, that could be an option. If you don't think there's going to be any more goals, then you're going to get value around 65 minutes back in the unders. That's it from me. I hope you found this video preview informative and useful, and look forward to speaking to you in the other previews. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.